Hi you all, this is a video on how to write a letter to yourself and put it in your sketchbook. And right here is the letter I wrote to myself. And here's the sketchbook that I put it into. You can put it on any page. I chose this one. I would like to decorate around it, but I haven't done that yet. And here's another example in case you wanted to do something different. You can always do something like this as well. As you can see, the envelope's a little different. It has the kind of, the rectangle on one side, but the top has this little flourish with the flap. So this, you fold it in half, close these up, put that down, you have another envelope. And you can see this letter is a little different. So notice how I did a little painting on it. You can do that as well. The other one was more just a letter to myself. So there's two examples. And the first thing you have to do is look for a piece of paper. You can get it out of magazines, the newspaper, whatever you want. I tend to like to get pages from the Patagonia catalog. I like nature when I'm doing my envelopes. Here are two pictures that called to me. Probably this more today because it's fall and it's beautiful. But then there's also this one that I found that I like too. So I was gonna possibly use this as well. We'll see. And here is an envelope that I pulled apart. You can take any envelope, pull it apart, and that will be used as your template to make life easier. And what I like to do is get a Sharpie marker, which I didn't prepare myself. I meant to have that over here, and I did not, so pardon me. All right, and then you take the envelope, and you can lay it down on the front or the back. I'm going to probably do it on the front so I can see what my envelope holds. And you just go around it like this. And you follow this. And then after you trace it, you're going to cut it out. All right, there we go. All right, so then once you have the mark down, you can cut it out. And you can see this one has, it's a little dirty up here, but it doesn't have any writing on the other side, which is helpful. These do. So what I've done usually is put gesso on it. So if you have any gesso or white paint at home, you can cover it once you've cut it, well, once you have it in your book or once you've cut it out. Actually, do the gesso before you put it in your book, pardon me. So I'm going to cut that out and I will be back with the gesso part. So go look for a magazine page that you might want to put in your book. Okay, I wanted to show you guys something else. For this envelope, I'm going to, if you want to do something different than using this as a template or you don't have an envelope, you can fold your page in half like this and then fold it again here. This will be the flap. All right, do you see how I folded that? And then you can look at your envelope and see how wide you want it. Remember, you're going to have the foldovers here. So what you're going to do is, I guess, let's see, I'll make it about this wide. And look at what you have. Like, do I want it here? I kind of like this water. But on this side, I will be able to see the water when it's closed. Like, I glue mine down, so this is pretty much what I'm going to be able to see in this one and not this. So I do like this line here. So I'll cut it right about, oh gosh, let's do it about here. Notice how I'm cutting it up. And then for these, the flap is here. I guess it needs to be a little bit closer, so I shouldn't have that space. I mean, you can, honestly, it's not a big deal. My Virgo moon needs to fix that. All right, and then you cut it in about, what, 1/2 inch? However much you want to fold this over. So let's cut it in about 1/2 inch. And then again on this side. And you can just freestyle it. It's fine. It's an envelope. It's not, we're not saving the world here. We're just writing a letter to ourselves. And then I'm going to do, you can do any kind of flap. I'm going to do like a little rounded flap, maybe with 3 curves. And again, I'm totally freestyling this. So if it's not perfect, it's not perfect. And I'm okay with that because the most important thing is the letter. If it looks pretty, that's a bonus. All right, so see how I did that? Here's my flap. And then what I'm going to do is fold it over here. Oop. It's maybe a little close. You can keep it a little farther away if you want than I did. I can also finagle it too, more if I need to. But here's this. I'm going to cut this top thing off a little bit more. This one where it folds in and this point is kind of in the way. So I'm going to do something like this. And over here, I'm going to do the same thing. Let's see. I don't think the bottom's a problem, so I'm not going to worry about that. I mean, I guess I could do the bottom too, right? So maybe I will curl the bottom. I'm just going to go off this edge and just cut that little corner off. Like this and like this. All right. So I have my little envelope that looks like this. And I can keep that original, fold if I want. But see how pretty that is? It's kind of fun to do it this way too, because then you have like little thing. You can also, if you want to mess with it, make it, there we go. So this is an envelope. And then I did cut out this one. So I'm going to fold it. Now, it's the same as the envelope folds, so just kind of follow it. Again, I'm kind of just doing it. So I don't know how perfect this is going to be or imperfect, but either is fine. I feel like I folded this over a little too far. All right. Got that. And then we fold this down. And you have an envelope. Oh, this is so wonky. Oh my gosh, let's fix it a little bit. Oh boy. Here we go. It's like a little less wonky. Yes, that's better. And as you can see, you have 2 different envelopes. For some reason, this one's attracting me. So I feel like I did this as one and this is the other. And for some reason, I just really like these flaps. My own made up flap. So keep that in mind, whatever you want to do. But now I have the white here, so I don't really need to put gesso on it if I don't want to. But this one, clear this out. This one needs a little gesso. Unless you want to read about the 40-year journey through the Arctic climate crisis and the book that captures it. I'm not so interested in that today. I'm more interested in my letter to myself. So I'm just going to take some gesso, white paint. If you don't have those things at home, what you can do is just get a white piece of computer paper or printing paper and cut out, either a square or the same shape and kind of put it inside of it and glue it onto it so that you have 2 pieces of paper together. Fold that up as well, do the same thing we just did. And then you'll have an envelope with a white piece of paper in front of it so you can write on that. Here, I'm just putting this gesso on. I don't need to do the whole thing. It's okay if you see a little bit coming through. It's actually kind of fun. So I'm going to do something like this. And then I like to go over the gesso to make it straight and not all crazy. And you can go the other way too if you want. I'm not going to do that. Okay. Then you let it dry. Do not try to start this before it dries. So I'm going to let this dry, and then I'm going to come back and I'm going to write my letter to myself. Now, what we did, what we've done, there's so many variations, but I like to meditate and then come out of my meditation and just write a letter to myself from my spirit guide. So it's a little bit from myself, a little bit from my guide. And you kind of just write, don't think about it, freestyle writing. And it really, I wrote my letter the other night. I didn't think about it. And then I reread it, and it was pretty amazing. So keep that in mind. Or this letter was just something I wanted to do with myself, an artist date, and then I put flowers on it. So if you just want to write like one line and decorate it with flowers or a drawing, you can do that as well. I also collaged a little bit in it to make it even more fun. All things you can do. All right. I will be back with writing the letter part. Or actually, maybe not. That's more personal. So just write any letter you want. But I will write it and I will show you how I put it in my book. All right? All right, you all. So I kind of changed my mind and did not write a letter to myself in here. I just let the gesso dry. I'm going to put this in a sketchbook I'm working on for a trip that's coming up. I like to create sketchbooks for big trips just as a ritual so that I start looking forward to the trip, meditating on it, thinking about it. This is a sketchbook that I have made for a trip that I'm going on in a couple of weeks. And I want to put this letter into the sketchbook so that when I'm on my trip, I can write a letter to myself. I'll have it all ready to go. It'll be tougher to write or to create something like this with gesso on while I'm traveling. So it's good to prepare. I'm just trying to find a place where I want to put this. And this is the part where you put it into your sketchbook. Like, how do you want to do it? This page actually is kind of fun. I just don't really like to, I don't want to cover that very much. But I do like these muted colors with the bright colors. So I'll remember that page. You know, this page could be fun. I could paint around here later. Just wanting to see what calls to me. And this is what you should do in your book. Just kind of take your envelope. This looks interesting. That could work. Let's keep going. I like to just go through my book and really, you know, I kind of like it with the sacred geometry over here. And there's a lot of these colors here. But is it too matchy-matchy? I do like to go for more shocking in my sketchbooks, like not match it up. These I'm saving for some note writing, so I'm not going to put it there. And it like could work there, but it doesn't excite me. Like you really want a page where you're like, ooh, that looks great. That brings me joy. I want to look at it again. I mean, I could have it hanging off, but this is a heavier piece of watercolor paper, so I don't really want to use that. I could put it here. This actually might be great. This is one of those pages that are a little dicier because you can't really do too much to them. I could probably draw with a Sharpie marker on it, but maybe I want to put my letter to myself on it. Again, it's a little matchy-matchy, but what I like to do is go through my book and just see what works. That could work too. I don't know. I mean, how far back do I want the letter to myself? These are all things that you have to consider. This can be a little tough. I'm not gonna lie. I mean, I like that, but I feel like it gets lost again. This could be good. I don't know. Let's see here. And if this is boring you, feel free to fast forward to the end where I glue the back and put it into the book. I kind of like this. I think my letter might go here. It's not too matchy-matchy. There's enough going on that it seems to flow. I'm going to remember this page. Let's not stop here, though, because maybe there's another page where it belongs. That works, too. That works, but it doesn't excite me as much as this pink. That could work, but I don't know. I feel like I want something more for that page. I mean, this could be really cool. Let's see. So, like, I look at this. I like this, but I have it on the other side, so I don't need to worry about covering it. I do like this, but at the end of the day, I kind of like this and the heart together. And then the numbers. But let's go back here. Like, see here? This? That doesn't excite me as much as this. For some reason, this really works for me. I think I found a page. Towards the end of the book, so it's like more secret. Here's another page. That works, but I'm loving that heart. Okay, so this is the page. I feel it. So what I'm going to do now is put some Mod Podge on the back. Again, ill-prepared. Did not have the Mod Podge over here, which I should have. Okay, so what I'm going to do is just cover the back, just this part with Mod Podge. And actually, let's move the book a little bit so that I have a flat surface. And I'm just going to cover, I'm being really messy about it this morning. Just going to cover this. You can turn it. My brush, I grabbed a brush that was very not flexible. I've used it many times for Mod Podge, so it's kind of on the stubborn side, but that's okay. You can still get the paint on there, or the Mod Podge on there, not paint. We've moved along to Mod Podge. Okay, so once I've done this, I'm just gonna pop it in my book. And yeah, let's see. So here, I wanna make sure the corners have enough glue on them. They're not popping up. I think this is good enough. Remember, this isn't that thick, so you don't wanna like go crazy because it might buckle the paper. And then I'm gonna put it in here. Yeah, I'm really pleased with this. I'm glad I picked this page. This is good. So we have like some colors matching, but enough that it just has a good feel to it. That's what I look for when I make my sketchbooks. I just want a good feel. And it's like the je ne sais quoi. I don't know where it's gonna begin or end, but when I know that it's good, I know that it's good. And that's going with intuition and what you're drawn to. See here that the empty page for me to write a letter to myself when I'm ready. That will probably be in about 2 weeks. And so I'm gonna close it up, and I have a nice little letter to myself waiting for me to write. I mean, how great is that? So good luck. Have fun doing your letter to yourself, and I will see you soon, hopefully. All right, bye-bye.